Dear students, today we'll recite the poem A Photograph by Charlotte Olson, and this poem has been taken from the book Hornbill. In this poem, the poet Charlotte Olson tells us about her mother and two cousins of hers, Betty and Dolly, who went paddling in the sea with the poetess mother, meant to say with her mother. Each of them was holding one of the hands of the poet's mother, who was a big girl of some 12 years or so at the time. It means at the time the poetess mother was some 12 years old and they went, mean to say, she went to the sea beach with her cousins, whose names were Betty and Dolly, along with their uncle, who was clicking their photos there. And all three stood still facing the camera over there. They pushed their hair aside to smile. Thus, the photograph presents three smiling faces. The face of the poet's mother is a sweet one. It was of a time before she was born. Their feet, which were being washed by sea water for a very short time, have been photographed along with the sea, which appears to have changed less. The poet thus indirectly hints that her mother's face has changed over the years. So, what the poetess tells us about her mother and her cousins. So, let's read this poem. The cardboard shows me how it was. Here, cardboard has been used for a photograph. कार्डबोर्ड जैसे कि आप समझते हैं कार्डबोर्ड क्या होता है, वैसे तो गत्ता होता है कार्डबोर्ड का मतलब, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो कार्डबोर्ड है, यहाँ पर ये कार्डबोर्ड जो है ये पिक्चर के लिए आया है, कार्डबोर्ड पिक्चर के लिए. शोज मी हाउ इट वॉज व्हेन द टू गर्ल कजन्स वैन पैडलिंग. पैडलिंग हियर मीन्स for swimming purpose, to swim in water with short movements up and down, so that is paddling. और पैडलिंग का मतलब नाव चलाना भी होता है, रोइंग बोट इन सी वाटर. लेकिन यहाँ पर जो है वो नाव चलाने नहीं गई थी, वो वहाँ पर तैरने के लिए या सी बीच के ऊपर नहाने के लिए गए थे. तो यहाँ पर हमें इसके बारे में पता चलता है. So here paddling means to go for swimming with short movements. So the cardboard, mean to say the poetess, looks at a picture that was pasted on a cardboard, and that shows that and the cardboard shows the picture of her mother as well as two of her cousins. Whose cousins? The poetess mother's cousins were there in the picture, and the picture was taken when the poetess mother went to the sea beach along with her cousins, whose names were Betty and Dolly. They went there for paddling. Paddling in the sense for swimming or rowing boat over there. Each one holding one of my mother's hands. In that picture, the mean to say the cousins of the poetess mother, they were holding her hands because poetess mother was older than that, older than her cousins, and the poetess mother was some 12 years old at that time, and she the big girl some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Transient means temporary, short lived, we can say. So here we come to know that the poetess mother went to the sea beach along with her cousins, and she was holding the hands of her cousins because she was older than them, and she was almost 12 years old at the time, and they were smiling at the camera. They were smiling through their hair at the uncle with the camera. Mean to say, their uncle was clicking their photos and they were smiling at the camera. A sweet face, my mother's. So the poetess tells us about her mother's sweet face because the snap was taken before the birth of the poet. That was before I was born. So here the poet tells us that the picture was taken before before she was born, and the sea which appears to have changed less. And during these years, mean to say, the sea, there was no change in the ocean, but definitely there was a great change in the appearance of her mother, because the picture that was taken at that time, and if we compare, and if she compares the the picture with her mother's face, in this way there was a great change, because the poetess mother changed along with the course of time, but there was no change in the ocean. Ocean was flowing as it was flowing earlier, and in this way the poet makes a comparison between the natural things and unnatural things, mortals and immortals. In this way we come to know that natural objects are permanent, while the unnatural things or human beings are short lived. Their life is uh, full of ups and downs, and their life is short lived. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. So, here the poet tells us that the picture was taken some 20 or 30 years back, and now, after 20 or 30 years later, the poetess mother would laugh while looking at the snapshot, because in this way she used to feel happy looking at the snapshot. Snapshot means the picture taken quickly is known as snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say. The poetess mother, Charlotte Olsen's mother, would look at the snapshot and say, "See Betty and Dolly, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both rive with the labored ease of loss." In this way, we come to know that the poetess mother would feel happy to look at the snapshot. She would recollect past memories. She would become nostalgic about the past events and the time she spent at the sea beach along with her cousins. The sea holiday was her past, and sea holiday was the past event of her life, and for the poet, it was the laughter of her mother. Mean to say, now the poet's mother is dead. Now the poet's mother is dead, and that's why the poet says that mine is her laughter. Mine is her laughter means now the poet's mother is dead. So now the poet just looks at the picture and remembers her laughter. Both rive with the labored ease of loss. It means hardly they are uh, able to cope up with the loss they suffered, and that process um, of tolerating that loss was really very tough for both of them. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. And now the poet's mother is dead, and she was dead some 12 years back, because here that poet tells us that she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Mean to say, the girl's age was 12 years when she went for the sea beach. And now almost 12 years has passed of her mother's death, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence is. And during this period, during this time, and in this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. Mean to say, the poet can say nothing, and only silence is there that surrounds her at this time. Mean to say, the poet can only recollect past memories, only remember her dead mother, and that's all she can do. And she can only remember laughter of her mother, as her mother used to remember her past holiday. In the same way, now the poet remembers her mother's laughter. And it is very difficult for it is very difficult for the poet, as well as it was very difficult for her dead mother to digest the to tolerate the loss they suffered during their particular time. So in this way we come to know about this poem, the essence. And here we look at the rhyme scheme of the poet. Cardboard shows me how it was. Paddling, hands, so, hair, face, bone, lass. So here we come to know that this poem has been has been composed in an irregular way. So this is a very beautiful poem. And now in this poem the poet also compares between the natural things which are which are considered immortal, while the human beings are mortals. Mortals means who are supposed to die and whose life is short lived. But natural objects are immortal, and they are long lasting. So thank you so much for going through this poem along with me. I hope you must have got the essence of the poem. And if you have any problem, you can call me up there, and you will be given solution on the line. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.